Normally, I reserve SCP-001s for some of the more descriptive channels and rarely do animation reactions for these because they're usually very complex. Although, Dr. Bob has never really done a 001 that I know of, and I really like Dr. Bob's animation. So we're gonna check this out, guys. Make sure to subscribe to Dr. Bob, subscribe to me if you like reaction videos, and let's get into SCP-001, the prototype.
The guerrilla soldiers fire their rifles blindly into the jungle.
Okay.
They don't know what exactly they're shooting at, but something is out there among the trees. Something they can't see. Something that's killing them.
Oh,
One of the young
it's killing
soldiers,
them.
barely
Okay.
more than a boy,
I thought they were just
stops to
shooting at
reload.
something moving.
As he pulls the magazine from his rifle, a blur passes by.
Uh-oh.
The soldier next to him suddenly drops to his knees, clutching his neck, blood pouring out between his fingers.
So the prototype is some
A
sort
hand
of
grasps the boy's
crazy-
shoulder, and he spins around, nearly opening fire on his commander. The older man tells him they've got to go, and the boy joins a small group of soldiers who start running through the jungle, trying to get away from whatever this
One
thing
enemy
is.
just killing them solidly,
As they
like
run,
the Predator.
there's another flash of movement, and one of the soldiers is pulled into the trees.
Wow.
He can hear his screams mixed with the otherworldly shrieks.
Go,
There's
go,
nothing they
go,
can
go,
do.
go.
It's already too late for him. Another soldier disappears into the trees with a blur.
Jeez.
It's just him and the commander now. They emerge from the jungle into a clearing that contains a small abandoned farm.
Thank
Commander
goodness.
motions for them to head towards the old farmhouse, and the two take
But
cover around the corner
I
of
have
the
a feeling
home.
that this isn't over.
They crouch with their guns ready, peeking around the corner, looking for any sign of the monster that's killed so many of their comrades. The boy wants to know what they should do. He opens his mouth to ask the commander, but he puts a finger to his lips and motions for the boy to keep watching. The boy peeks around the corner of the house, but he doesn't see anything emerging from the tree line. It's quiet until the commander begins to scream. The boy turns to see a point forming on his chest. It's a black circle.
Oh,
No,
wow.
not black, something darker. It's like it is the absence of any and all light.
It's a
The
void.
commander screams louder as the point of darkness grows. The commander's screams fade out, even as it looks like he continues to yell. The boy watches as the commander seems to be collapsing in,
It's a
sucked
void,
into the
like a
dark
black
orb in his
hole.
chest. The commander's body folds in on itself, growing smaller and smaller
Oh my
until it
gosh.
disappears completely into the black hole, which vanishes along with him. The boy doesn't
Wow.
know what he just saw, but he doesn't have time to think, because
Nope,
emerging from the
here it
forest is the creature. The boy has never seen anything like it and runs into the farmhouse. He locks the door and pushes the old kitchen table in front of it, trying to
not gonna
barricade
help,
it as
buddy.
best he can.
It's not
He
gonna
looks
help.
around and spots a bed against the wall. It's the best hiding spot he can find. So he runs and slides under the bed, pulling himself as close to the wall as he can. The boy watches and waits, unsure of what he should do. It's quiet. There's no more screaming of soldiers being killed or any more of those guttural animal-like squeals. Maybe it decided to go back to
Animal
wherever it came
squeals
from.
were coming from
The boy doesn't dare come out from under the bed,
entity?
though. As he watches the door, waiting for something to burst through, he sees something else.
Uh-oh.
Another of those black points appears in the middle of the room.
Right.
It looks like it bends the light around it, distorting the room nearby. The boy watches from under the bed as out of the point, a thin black limb emerges.
Oh, it
First
can
one,
teleport
then
here.
another. He can see its strange pointed legs with no feet standing just in front of the bed now.
This comes from another
With a
dimension,
high-pitched
like?
cry, the creature effortlessly tosses the bed aside.
Wow.
The boy is left exposed, cowering against the wall. The creature screams, opening its wide mouth
This
that
thing
seems
is
to split its eyeless
nasty.
face in two, revealing 2 rows of jagged teeth. The boy screams back, crying in fear, and sees that the creature isn't eyeless after all. Inside its
It has an
grotesque
eye
mouth,
in
a milky
its
blue
mouth.
ball appears. There's no iris, but the boy knows whatever this thing is,
That's what
it's
sees
looking at
him.
him. The boy feels his chest grow tight. He looks down to see that one of the black points is forming on his chest.
No!
He can feel himself being squeezed and crushed, pulled down into this singular
Gosh.
point. All noises, including his screams,
That
disappear as he is
sucks,
pulled
man.
into this soundless void. But then he hears something again. He looks up to see that the creature is being
foundation?
riddled with bullets.
The
It turns
foundation?
to escape and bursts through the wall of the
Or
farmhouse.
is it just other
The
people?
dark orb on the boy vanishes.
Oh, thank
and
goodness.
He sees, standing in the doorway, his friend and
Hey,
savior.
it's his friend.
He clutches his bleeding throat with one hand, holding his rifle in the other. The boy rushes to him as he
thought it was
collapses
the
to the floor.
foundation.
Blood is pouring out of his neck, and he can no longer
guy.
speak. But he dies knowing he saved his young friend. The boy starts to feel very tired, and he sits down next to his dead hero. He's all alone now, his
What a
entire group
hell
of
of a
freedom
story.
fighters now wiped out by this demon. The boy feels nauseous and
Time to
dizzy.
just go home.
He coughs into his hand and looks down to see that it's covered in his own blood.
Oh, the boy actually
A group of
still
boys
messed
run
him
down
up.
a jungle path, laughing and playing, when they suddenly stop and grow quiet. There's something up ahead of them. It's a man lying on the side of the road. The boys look scared, unsure if they should check it
Different
out.
story.
But then the smallest of all of them emerges from the group and bravely marches up to the man.
It's always the run of the
Not
living.
wanting to let the youngest of their friends make them look like cowards, the rest of the boys soon follow. The man on the side of the road is moaning and looks to be in pain.
Uh-oh.
As they get closer, they can see that he must have been in a
He got
terrible
COVID.
accident. His skin is gray,
keep your
and it looks
distance.
like his long, thin arms only have 3 fingers.
Oh, no, this
What
is
should
the
they
thing.
do?
This is
The small
this is
boy
the
picks up a
prototype.
stick and reaches out with it to poke the
the
man,
SCP
not wanting to
poke
touch
it.
him with his own hands.
Right. That's
But
probably
before he
smart.
can, the man rolls over, opening his mouth with a horrible shriek to reveal
Oh,
the
he's
glassy
wounded.
blue eye inside as the boys turn and run, hands over their ears. Several weeks later, the small Guatemalan town holds a meeting. The crowd of people in the room are angrily yelling at the mayor, who stands at a podium, demanding answers from him about what happened to their dead or missing loved ones. A series of photos are hung on the wall behind the mayor
So
in
this thing is
remembrance of
hunting
those who have
actively,
disappeared into
right?
the forest or mysteriously died from a rapid illness, including the brave young boy.
Sure.
One man shouts at the mayor, wanting to know where his daughter was.
So when you get
Another
exposed
asks
to
how
that
her
void,
healthy husband could drop dead from an illness
can
after
mess
being
him.
perfectly healthy only days before. The mayor tries to calm
How's
the
the
frustrated
mayor supposed
townspeople,
to know that?
telling them that he knows there have been rumors of a demon
Like-
out in the forest, but that's all they are. Rumors.
Right, rumors.
The mayor warns them, though, that something is out there,
What
though
are you
he
supposed to
doesn't
do
know
about
what.
a demon, honestly?
There is an animal
As
or
a
a man
mayor.
that is making people sick. It may
Hold the
also be
foundation.
hunting people. Neither he nor the police know exactly what is going on. But there is good news. A group of men have come to help them.
The foundation.
The mayor points towards a stern-looking man in a military uniform who is standing with a small group of other soldiers and a scientist off to the side of the stage. The mayor explains that this man, General Machoy, is from America, and that he's going to help them. The crowd doesn't cheer in the way that the mayor seems to have expected, but they
Alright.
at least stop their yelling as the general steps to
Sure.
the podium and thanks the mayor for the introduction. The general looks over the crowd who are waiting and hungry for answers about the monster that's suddenly begun plaguing their town. He tells them that it is true that he's been sent here by the US government in order to investigate what's been happening and stop whatever threat is out there in the jungle by any means necessary. He can't promise that he'll be able to bring back any of their missing loved ones, but he can at least prevent whatever this is from taking any more.
Sure.
He then gestures to the rest of his group and tells the crowd that the men he has brought with him have been specially trained to deal with this exact type of situation,
It's an
and that they don't
MTF
need to
group?
worry any longer. The only thing everyone needs to do is stay out of their way, and all will be taken care of. With that, he walks off
Pretty
the stage
confident.
as the
It's
crowd
big
erupts
words,
into
boy.
more shouting. General Machoy stops at the scientists waiting next to the stage. Well, Dr. Ketter, what do you think? The
Dr.
scientist
Ketter.
adjusts his glasses and answers, "This is what we've been preparing for. The overseers kept telling us this day would come. It looks like it
05
finally
Council was
has."
telling him, huh?
The group of soldiers led by General Machoy make their way through the dense
I love
forest.
tales like this, man.
Dr.
The
Ketter is
analysis
just
is
ahead
great,
of
but I
them,
love
using a
tales
Geiger
about
counter to
SCP.
follow the creature. The audible clicks of the radioactive entity
Love how
telling
Dr.
him
Bob
which way it
combines
came.
both of them, right?
They track the source of the
Always have a
radiation
little
to a
tail at
clearing
the
in the
beginning
jungle
and
where a
then
small
the
village once
analysis.
stood. Most of the buildings are overgrown with plants and thick vines, but with
Sure.
it growing dark, this seems as safe a place as they will find to make their camp for the night.
Was this where they
The soldiers fan out to search
stand
what's left
happened?
of the town, as
the
Dr.
original
Ketter
soldier?
continues looking around for where the radioactive trail might lead them next.
So it is
As
radioactive.
General Machoy is checking out one of the many dark old buildings, one of the older soldiers cries out, "Hey General, it looks like this generator still works."
Oh,
With the sound of an old diesel motor coming to life, lights in the village suddenly flicker
Ah.
on. They now have fortifications and light.
all right.
Though he'd never admit it, General Machoy was feeling nervous about spending the night in the jungle. But now
Sure.
at least some of those nerves were being washed away by the
Well,
old
yeah,
flickering yellow
Lido-
lights.
Lido actually
Later
make
that
you feel
night,
a lot
the
better.
general is questioning Dr. Ketter on where the creature went. Dr. Ketter is confused, though. His readings showed high traces of radiation leading into this village. The creature came here, he was sure of it, but now he can't figure out where it went. It's as if it came into the village and then simply vanished.
It's going into
Outside,
its own
one of the
dimension,
soldiers on
right?
watch tells the rest of the group who are sitting around a fire to shut up, that he thinks he saw something in the woods.
Uh-oh.
Everyone immediately springs into action, taking defensive positions and aiming their rifles into the dark tree line. "There it is again," he
Oh,
says,
yep,
as a
that's
flash
it.
of darkness moves just beyond the clearing. "No, it's over here," says another soldier on the
It's
opposite
moving
side.
around fast.
How could the creature be moving so fast around them?
It's an anomaly.
Are there multiple of whatever this is out there?
No, just
The
fast.
soldiers form a circle to make sure that
Maybe
the
it
thing
is
can't get behind them. What
but
they
I
can't
don't think
see
so.
is the point of darkness
The
forming
hole.
behind all of their backs, and the
Black
thin,
hole.
pointed legs stepping out of it. The general's radio comes to life. I think we've got something out here, But his message is cut off
It's
by
over.
screams and the sound of
Dang.
gunfire. General Machoy tells Dr. Keter to stay inside and runs out of the building, where he finally gets a glimpse of the demon that they've been tracking. The tall, thin creature is massacring his squad.
Wow.
It dashes between them at an inhuman speed, using its three-fingered hands to rip the limbs off of some soldiers and slash at others with its razor-sharp claws, opening up their necks or disemboweling them before moving on to the next. The general fires his rifle at the creature and misses, but it's enough to get it to retreat. General Machoy runs back inside the building where Dr. Keter is waiting.
Man, you need
What was
turrets.
it? What did you see out there?
With
The
motion
general doesn't
sensors.
know how to begin describing the monster that just killed all of his men. It's like nothing he's ever seen before, and something that no amount of training could prepare him for.
So
As the two
this
men
isn't
ponder what to do next,
MTF?
the Geiger counter on the table suddenly starts to click, softly at first, but then more and more, as if a huge amount of radiation has suddenly flooded the room. The general
That's the
grabs the
black
doctor
hole.
and drags him out, leaping out of the building just before it collapses in on itself,
Wow.
disappearing into the micro-singularity that formed inside. The two men look up to see it standing right in front of them, its huge mouth open
Jeez.
to reveal its glassy blue eye.
Shoot
Look
it!
out, Dr. Keter cries, but he isn't talking about the demon as he and the general roll to the side, just avoiding the power line that has been cut loose by the destroyed building.
Oh.
The power line hits the ground and immediately begins to spark, sending out bright pulses of white electrical light. The creature cries out with a gut-wrenching scream and collapses to the ground, huddling up into a ball as it tries to cover up its mouth with its thin arms. Is it the electricity? The general
the
asks,
light.
confused about what suddenly stopped the killer's rampage. But Dr. Keter realizes it isn't the sparking power line that the creature has
It's the
been
light,
immobilized
huh?
by. It's the flashing lights.
Right.
The general doesn't wait for his answer,
Rocket
though,
launcher?
and fires the weighted net from his gun,
Oh, it's a
trapping the
net.
howling
Oh, I
creature.
was about to say, man.
Dr. Keter examines the creature at the field research center that has been set up several miles from the village. A strobe light has been affixed to the inside of the creature's cage, but even when the doctor turns the light off, the grayish-brown skinned entity still remains curled up in a ball on the floor. The
Interesting.
doctor wonders if perhaps the creature is hungry, but it shows no interest in any of the various meats, fruits, and vegetables they've presented to it.
Right.
The doctor stands in the doorway of the tent that has been set up to house the creature's
you could
cage
just make a
and gives an
black hole
update
and
to
do
General
something
Machoy,
else.
who is anxious to get the creature moved to the United States and a more secure containment environment. Dr. Keter stresses that he fears the journey might kill this creature, though, and put an end to the incredible research and testing they can perform on this amazing living specimen. The general turns to leave, but stops to salute the body of one of his soldiers being carried by on a stretcher.
Wow.
Dr. Keter himself turns to go back to his research when he notices something.
The
The
entity's
creature's
gone?
mouth is ever so slightly open. Dr. Keter has yet another idea. That night, Dr. Keter enters the temporary morgue and takes a severed arm from one of the dead soldiers.
Oh, wow.
Back in the research tent, he presents the arm to the creature, sliding it through the cage bars. The creature doesn't react, but Dr. Keter continues to watch and wait. After a time, the creature finally stirs. It's the first time he has seen it move since it was captured.
Nighttime,
The
though,
creature
right?
reaches out with its long three-fingered hand and grabs the arm before starting to feed on it. You like that, don't you? Dr. Keter asks, and bizarrely, the creature seems to respond, giving an almost baby-like coo.
Oh,
There's
my
lots more of that
gosh.
if you behave. All I want is to study you, learn how you work. The creature continues to feed, starting to crunch on the bones now that all of the meat is gone.
Wow.
Yes, I believe you'll be good, the doctor says as he approaches the cage. You're going to make me world famous. Soon, everyone will know the name Herman Ket. The creature's hand shoots out from between the bars so quickly he never even saw it. Dr. Keter starts to scream as it grasps and claws at him. A soldier standing guard outside runs in, but a black point of light immediately appears on his
Wow.
torso, causing him to fold in on himself into the singularity. The creature drops the bloody Dr. Keter to the floor, who reaches for the emergency strobe light activation button as another singularity opens up inside of the cage. The creature appears to willfully
It's
step
over.
into it
He
before
got
emerging
out.
out of another just outside of the bars.
Dang.
More soldiers rush into the tent in time to see the creature feeding on the still living Dr. Keter. One presses the button to activate the high-powered strobe lights, which cause the creature to start screaming and thrashing about, trying to escape the flashing lights.
Give it a
Multiple nets are
little
fired
bit.
onto the creature, pinning it to the ground as its screams slowly fade back to whimpers. On overseer
Wow.
orders, the creature is moved to ADRX-19. a secure base
Constant
located somewhere in North
lights.
America. The site's director gives a presentation to a group
Jeez.
and explains that thanks to the work of the late Dr. Ketter, they now know that the
Late
creature
Dr.
exhibits
Ketter.
signs of fear and sickness when in the presence of strobing lights, and that it is unable to produce the microsingularities that it uses for defense and teleportation when it is in this sickened state.
Micro-singularities.
When healthy, though, the creature is extremely dangerous thanks to its superhuman speed,
Seems
strength,
like it.
and cunning. It was also discovered that it is unable to teleport through lead, which its new containment cell has been lined with, and extreme
Interesting.
security procedures have been implemented, including the installation of a reinforced steel blast door and constant
Okay.
patrols of the outside of the cell by armed guards who are equipped with high-powered strobe lights.
Okay.
The site director leaves the room and the overseers discuss the fate of the creature, which has been given the designation number 86243AR-001, though most have taken to calling it simply 001. One of the overseers argues that the creature must be secured and contained in order to protect humanity. Who
Sure.
knows how many more of these might be out there? They now know that the rumors of these types of entities aren't merely isolated events, and that there could be
Right.
countless more of these anomalies, hundreds, maybe even thousands.
Now that
The rest of the overseers unanimously
before I
agree.
was like, this
One
is
of them
not a
picks up the report that was
001
left behind by the
This-
site director.
you know,
Redact this
but now
report
it does
immediately and
that
start
many?
a new document archive. This is only the prototype. I have the feeling there will be many more of these. I hope you
So somebody made that actually. So, or created it. I'd like to say before I knew that there may have been multiple instances of this thing, I was just like, it's a deadly creature. Like, does this deserve a 001? But if there's that many of them, or it's just a prototype of a legion of them, definitely could be 001 capabilities. This was really, really good, guys. I love when he goes through stuff like this for tales, you know, that just gives you an idea of kind of like the practical storytelling element of what these SCP do, and getting it to describe to you as well is just good stuff. At any rate, guys, make sure to subscribe to Dr. Bob. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.